Doug Sherman along with former Boston College Eagle Malcolm Huckabee. So glad you could join us here tonight. 11 days ago up in Albany, these two teams met for the first time. Monmouth won in absolute thriller, 102-82. Malcolm, could we have a repeat performance here tonight?
I think we are going to see another fun, high-scoring performance. We have two of the better scoring guards in the MAC conference, and then for my money, Justin Robinson is one of the best guards in all of college basketball. In his last 5 games, he's averaging 23 points a game and shooting 61% from beyond the arc. And oh, by the way, in his last 3 games, he's made 18 threes. He is playing some outstanding ball for Monmouth right now.
Yeah, both of those numbers, 40 and 36, career highs for these two senior guards. As both after shoot-arounds this morning, do you expect the same type of up-tempo? Both kind of smiled, said they wouldn't mind getting after it, but both coaches said they want to make sure the other team's lead guard doesn't get off again tonight.
Yeah, and that's going to be a key theme in this game. In that last matchup, you looked at the numbers for Justin Robinson. He dominated that game. Obviously, it was the points, but they had no answer for him in terms of keeping him out of the lane. That's going to be a key theme, how Siena matches up against the quickness and speed of Justin Robinson.
Only Gonzaga and Vermont have longer active winning streaks in the country than Monmouth, coming in with an overall record of 24-5. Chris Brady and Javion Oganyemi set to jump center. The Hawks in their whites, the Saints in their road gold uniforms. And here along the Jersey Shore, we are underway. And this is Justin Robinson. He's listed at 5'8", 175 from Lake Katrine, New York. That's only about an hour south from the Siena campus, but he's a young man not recruited pretty much by any other Division I school than Monmouth.
And we're going to get into that story later, how King Rice and his staff found Justin Robinson. An amazing story, but certainly a lot of teams would love to have him in their program.
Over the back foul called against Colin Stewart, who gets the start tonight for Monmouth. King Rice is the man who has orchestrated the rise of this program. Monmouth, in its 4th year in the MAC, after having been in the Northeast Conference, has now won back-to-back regular season championships, but they didn't quite get to the NCAA tournament a year ago, and that is the only goal they have this year, Malcolm.
Yeah, and I felt they should have gotten in last year, and certainly a lot of other folks felt that way as well, but they followed it up with another outstanding season.
Marquise Wright on the step back. He's got the Saints on the board first.
I talked about it in the tip, 2 of the most dynamic guards in this conference. And Marquise Wright, he's got it all. Step back jumper right there. But he is a guy that can fill it up for Siena.
Jelon Hornby fouled by Asante Shivers. Siena's head coach, Jimmy Patsos. It's his 4th year at Siena, but his 13th year as a head coach in the MAC. He spent 9 years as the head coach at Loyola University down in Maryland before being hired and moving to Albany to take over the Siena job. And the record this year, 14-15 overall. Not what folks up there were looking for, but the reality is they played by far the toughest non-conference schedule in the MAC, and they have been playing their best basketball here in the month of February.
And let's face it, this is a one-bid league, and if you're going to be playing your best ball, you want to have that going into the MAC conference tournament. So certainly right now he's got it going in the right direction when it matters most.
Well, this Siena team has 4 seniors, all with 1,000 points for their career. Bisping, one of those from the foul line, makes it 4-2 Saints.
And they're so balanced. This being a guy that does a little bit of everything, but 4 players average double digits. And back to your 1,000-point, as we take a look at a 3 for Monmouth, they're the only team right now in Division I basketball with 4 players that have 1,000-plus points.
Shivers the only one in the starting lineup not with 1,000 career points. Chris Brady the rebound, and here come the Hawks, who love to run. Robinson with the acrobatic finish.
Well, I'm so glad I'm sitting here next to you and not trying to keep him out of the lane. Justin Robinson is so quick. He is a guy that has blazing speed, and right here again, he can shoot from the 3-point line, so you have to honor him there. But then with his quickness and speed, anytime you get up on him, he is going to look to go by you. That's a difficult finish that he made look easy.
He was an honorable mention All-American last year as a junior. Also the MAC Player of the Year last year, and almost assuredly when it comes out next week, he will win a second straight award from the league. Oganyemi guides home the alley-oop, the assist to Wright. Here's Hornbeek. Jalon Hornbeek, the Oklahoma transfer, who his coach, King Rice, says is the most talented player, not just on Monmouth, but in the entire league. And he was recruited at a different level than pretty much everybody else in this conference.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to take a look at a nice little lob right here. Justin Robinson tried to break it up, but that's just a nice roll for Siena on the road. And again, Monmouth's going to have to recognize that set play right there.
Oganyemi doesn't get the roll. Colin Stewart the pull-up. And the young man from Glenville, New York, just a few miles from the Siena campus, has Monmouth on top by a point.
Well, another area for Siena in this game, transition defense. That time, poor transition defense. Nobody picked up the ball, and Monmouth, one of the better three-point shooting clubs in the MAC conference.
Nico Clarith into the game for Siena, commits the turnover, and then a foul given up by Levon Long. Well, defensively, what is Siena trying to do against Justin Robinson tonight, Malcolm?
Well, you have to keep him out of the lane. The difficulty in guarding him is that he shoots over 40% from the three-point line. And I'm going to give you a couple of quotes that NBA scouts gave me when I asked him about Justin Robinson, but he can pull up from anywhere on the court. So I think the key thing is keep a body in front of him. No easy task, though.
Josh James off the mark. Here comes Clarith into the front court for Siena. Oganyemi from 18. Hornbeek to the corner, all alone Stewart. Three more. Well, one of the great assets about this Monmouth team is its depth. They can go 9, 10, 11, 12 deep with talent off the bench.
And they have great balance. Again, we talked about Justin Robinson scoring, but they have some other guys that come off the bench that can fill it up as well, too.
Nico Clarith can fill it up. Last year's 6th man of the year in the conference. Gets his first two.
Start off this game. They played straight man-to-man, Siena. Let's see how long they stay in that.
Robinson blocked by Long, out of bounds. And that'll take us to our first media timeout. 10-8. The preseason conference favorites from Monmouth up 2.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by PlayStation Vue. Live TV, no annual contract, and no surprise fees. And Lexus. Some things are simply impossible to ignore. The strikingly designed Lexus NX Turbo and Hybrid.
Those pictures are from a couple of weeks ago when Justin Robinson was honored for becoming Monmouth's all-time leading scorer in its Division I era. This, by the way, is also senior night here at Monmouth, so the emotions are certainly running high. And for Justin Robinson, what a marvelous career. You see, he leads the MAC in points per game, among the league leaders in pretty much every other offensive statistical category. His career numbers are some of the best you're going to find in MAC history. And
how about the story that King Rice told us today at shoot-around when we asked him the first time he saw this young man. And he said, look, I was there to watch other guys, and I look over on the other court, and there's this little guy running up and down getting buckets. And every game that I watched, he was just out there going by guys and scoring over all these guys that were higher rated than him. And Brian Reese, the assistant, a former North Carolina guy as well, too, said, look, we got to stay on this guy. And, you know, King Rice, sure enough, bucked all the trend, all the colleges that did not offer him because of his size. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot of schools, not just in the MAC conference, that would love to have Justin Robinson as their lead guy running their program.
Well, he grew up just outside of Kingston, New York, which is an hour south of the Siena campus. Didn't get any sort of interest from this program. According to King Rice, really the only other D1 school that showed him any attention was Binghamton in the America East Conference. Justin told us today he actually was a very good football player at Kingston High School, where he was a standout defensive back and considered being a D2 football player. But when the D1 opportunity to come here to Monmouth in a program that was on the rise came, he couldn't turn it down. Levon Long with the layup. And so all 4 Siena 1,000-point scorers are on the scoreboard tonight.
And I love the way that they attack. And again, it just goes to show you the balance they have. Rare in the college game where you have 4 players, close to 5, averaging double digits. But that's what Siena does, and they do an excellent job spreading you out, and then they're all willing and able passers. Really fun to watch them run their offense.
Nico Clarith off the ball screen. Colin Stewart blocks him. It's been all Monmouth in transition, and Colin Stewart makes it 10 fast break points already for the Hawks.
Well, that's an area of concern. Remember, the last meeting between these 2 turnovers was an issue for Siena. Now, although that was not a turnover, it was a poor shot selection that led to easy transition. In that last game, Monmouth had 28 points off of turnovers. That's something that Siena cannot do on the road here.
On the switch, Marquise Wright has Colin Stewart guarding. Gets it back from Oganyemi. 3 more for the senior from Waldorf, Maryland. Here comes Wright off the turnover. Line pass, too long, and he lays it in.
Well, it's the Wright show on the last 2 possessions right there. Come off, no hedge, make him pay, and then little no-look pass. That's just beautiful pass by Wright, setting up his teammate for an uncontested deuce.
Chris Brady for 2. Well, back in your days at Boston College, Malcolm, did you have that guy in the league who, when you faced him, you wanted to measure up? We've got that here tonight with Marquise Wright trying to show that he is worthy of hanging with Justin Robinson and that he's better. Did you have somebody like that in the Big East?
Well, the problem in the Big East, back in the old Big East, when everybody had a lottery pick. So you can go down the line, and whether it was Billy Owens, you had Dikembe Mutombo and Alonzo Mourning, you know, my years there. So, yes, you had matchups like that all across the board, up and down the Big East, where they were benchmark games.
Well, tomorrow on ESPN, the Big 12 and Pac-12 cap off our full day of college hoops at 6 Eastern. 3rd-ranked Kansas in Austin to take on Texas, and then we'll take you to the McHale Center in Tucson, the site of this week's College Game Day for our huge Saturday primetime game. Number 5 UCLA, number 4 Arizona, in the year of the West Coast in college basketball. Micah Seaborn back to Hornbeak, and he rattles home the triple.
Monmouth right now leads the MAC with close to 9 threes made per game, and that's something that anytime you play against them, you're going to have to chase guys off the 3-point line. But the reason why they shoot so many and they make so many open ones is because of the penetration of Justin Robinson. He draws so much attention right here, though. That's just beautiful pick-and-roll basketball. The help is late, and then they made him pay. Really excellent movement that time by Monmouth on the offensive side.
The Hornbeak has been playing the last 3 or 4 weeks about as well as he ever has. He was 3rd in the league in 3-point accuracy at 45%. So when he and Robinson and Seaborn around the perimeter are all working in unison at a high level, it makes a real tough night for the opposing defense.
Absolutely, and take a look at some good defense right here. Again, you're absolutely right. But I think this is the area where they don't get a lot of credit for. They're an excellent defensive club as well.
Time is called on the floor.
30-second timeout called by Siena.
It's a 30-second timeout called by Siena. We'll take a quick break as Marquise Wright and the Saints putting on a show, trying to upset the regular season champs. Have rattled off 7 straight points.
Yeah, and speaking with the Siena coaching staff and Coach Petzel, they don't want to get into a track meet with Monmouth. They're not going to win that game. They tried that already, and that did not work out so well for them in that last matchup where Monmouth put up 102 points in that win. So they want to slow the pace of the game down, and I think a big number for them is the turnovers. Again, in that last game, they turned it over way too many times, and Monmouth converted on the other end.
And so far, fast break points in this one, 12 for Monmouth, 0 for Siena. Bisping from the baseline. 4 points for the senior from Morton, Illinois. That's just outside of Peoria. That snaps the 7-0 run and draws the Saints back within a point. And a kick is called. And so Monmouth will keep it. The Hawks have Austin Tillman and Pierre Sarr off the bench into the game. Diego Quinn as well. And again, King Rice has 5, 6, 7, 8 guys any given game just on the bench that he's very happy to bring in. Tillman in a tough spot. Bisping had him bottled up. Off to Seaborn. No look. Sarr with the hammer.
Well, that's the way you break pressure. Siena mixed it up, went to a trap. Monmouth beat it, and then they set up a beautiful, another no-look pass, which led to a dunk.
Wright is fouled from behind. And Malcolm, that's what you have to do when you get double teamed. Somebody should be open, and indeed he was. And
that's what you want to do. Again, take a nice look, break the pressure, nice little no-look, and then Sarr with the finish. And anytime you break pressure, that's what you want to do. You do not want to settle unless it's penetrate and kick out to an open three. You want to attack the basket because you have the advantage.
Off the inbound, the shot missed by Claris, and Sarr the rebound. Justin Robinson has just gone to the bench with the under 12 timeout looming. Tillman for 3. Out of bounds back to Siena. The Saints will have it when we come back.
Monmouth right now with some nice ball movement. The no-look pass. Sarr with the finish. Monmouth up.
King Rice was the MAC Coach of the Year a season ago in Malcolm Huckabee. He might just do it again. He, of course, was the top point guard recruit out of Binghamton High School back in the day. Went to North Carolina. Now as a head coach, he has really found his stride.
And he really has, and obviously played for a Hall of Famer and legend and Dean Smith. And he talked about his time and all the experiences and the lessons that he learned from Coach Smith. And he's trying to take that now and give that to some of these young men that he is in charge of right now. And he has done an outstanding job. You look at the numbers, they do not lie. And again, I really am more impressed with some of the stuff he does with these young men off the court. We talked a lot about that today. And obviously the basketball part is important, but trying to help these men transition when they're done with basketball, that's something that is also equally as important for him. And he has done a fine job thus far at Monmouth.
And you know, this is senior night at Monmouth, but they are doing the ceremony after the game as opposed to before it. And you know, you see that once in a while, but it's not that common. Usually you do it pre-game, and you run the risk that if you lose tonight's game, if you're Monmouth, it would take some of the emotion and it would just give an odd feel to the whole thing as Bisping has his shot blocked. Justin Robinson remains on the bench. Hawks keep running, though, and that's a walk-on. Louis Polari with his first 2 points. But in terms of the senior night that King Rice remembered back in '91 when he was the point guard of the Tar Heels, he said they had their ceremony pregame as most do. He saw his father cry for the first time in his life, and he wasn't right for the rest of the night, as you might imagine. And he said that he and Rick Fox and Pete Chilcutt, the other seniors, didn't play well on their senior night, wound up losing to Duke, and so he likes the idea of having what could be a very emotional ceremony after tonight's ball game rather than pre-tip.
And really enjoyed hearing him tell that story to us. And, you know, he's absolutely right. He said, listen, I never saw my dad cry before until senior night, and it really messed me up before the game. And we went out, lost to Duke, you know, on senior night and had a terrible game. So, you know, that's something, again, that's a factor in this game on senior night because a lot of these guys realize as we see the shot clock winding down.
Doesn't matter, Levon Long able to bury the 3.
Well, back to that point, the emotional part for these seniors, knowing that this could be potentially the last time they play at home.
Well, they hope it is. As regular season champs, Monmouth has already clinched no worse than an NIT berth, which could have them back here on this floor. But obviously, they are hoping this is the last time they ever play in this building. Shot clock down to 6. Polari picks it up, hounded by Marquise Wright. With 2 to shoot, he puts it up. Kadeem Smith in the rebound for the Saints. And the former Richmond Spider runs the offense off the bench for Siena. Siena downfall 5. Long misses. Bisping kept it alive. Tillman with a long 2.
Well, they are just so good in transition. Again, they want to get up and down. And again, poor transition defense by Siena. You have to pick up the ball. That's just too easy. Wide open look.
Long rebound right. He attacks and has a chance for 3. Well, for all the numbers Justin Robinson's been putting up lately, Marquise Wright's been doing similar things in the month of February, averaging 23 points per game.
We're going to talk both these guys, Mr. February, the numbers they put up right here. This is just great work on the offensive glass, and then one situation or block out by Monmouth, and then Wright, who has been balling in the month of February. We talked about his numbers off the chart, 23 points a game, and he's been averaging 6 assists during that stretch as well, too. So he's not just scoring, he's also setting up his teammates.
That was the first foul on Diego Quinn, the 5th against Monmouth. Siena's been called for only 2 fouls so far in the ball game. Seaborn, the step back. Bisping nearing 1,000 career rebounds with another one here tonight.
A guy that's almost averaging a double-double. He's right at the cusp. 9.6 rebounds he averages. Does so much on the glass for Siena.
Oganyemi got great positioning inside and lays it in.
And right now, Siena's getting some nice opportunities around the basket. What Monmouth is going to have to do is stop allowing the bigs for Siena to catch the ball with 2 feet inside the paint. You really have no chance whatsoever either to foul or you're going to give up a deuce like they did on that last possession.
Monmouth looking to snap an 8-0 Siena run. And another turnover. This time it's Tillman who shuffled his feet. This week, our NBA Saturday primetime game presented by Verizon Wireless on ABC is another matchup between best buddies. D-Wade and the Bulls in Cleveland to battle LeBron and the East leading Cavs. Our coverage tips with NBA Countdown presented by Straight Talk Wireless at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific. The biggest games of the season with the biggest stars of the NBA every Saturday night.
I'd say those are some pretty good numbers by the King. And for me, anybody that debates whether or not he's the best player in the world, I think does not understand basketball. I mean, to put up the numbers that he has been putting up, assists, scoring, the minutes played, and obviously winning championships is just a caveat at the end. But, I mean, there's not too many guys that can play 1 through 5 as he can and dominate a game the way he does.
Justin Robinson, bounce pass too far in front of Hornby. Siena running back the other way. On the point guard, right. Lobs it intended for long. They had a big height advantage in there with Justin Robinson defending, but the pass from Wright was off the mark. So the Hawks will have it when we come back. Siena on an 8-0 run, back within 2. Here on the Jersey Shore, Monmouth University holding on to a 2-point lead over Siena. The Hawks have won 14 straight games, but Jimmy Patzos' Siena Saints looking to snap that streak. And you know the MAC tournament begins in less than a week, and in this league, Malcolm, it is all about winning 3 or 4 games in a row and getting yourself onto the NCAA tournament.
And that's why the depth of Monmouth is so important, in particular, as you talked about, in that weekend tournament. Again, you're going to need guys to be able to come in and get bench production, in particular in that second or third game. And that's something that Monmouth has the advantage against most teams in the MAC conference.
James trying to drive on Oganyemi. We've got some interesting matchups here in the man-to-man defense for Siena. You've got Levon Long checking Robinson. You've got bigs guarding smalls, smalls guarding bigs.
And I like the move by Siena, putting a bigger person on Justin Robinson. Again, if you have length, at least you're going to be able to contest some of his shots. You're not going to match his quickness, but you definitely want some length to have a hand in front of his face.
Bisping from the corner. He's got 3 more. And Siena takes the lead.
Well, Siena, percentage-wise on the season, as we take a look at a beautiful no-look pass again by Justin Robinson, looking off the defense. But Siena not known as a 3-point shooting team. And we're taking a look at, that's just unselfish basketball right there. Kick it out to a wide open shooter. And Bisping was able to knock one down. And then on the other end, Doug, what we're finding right now is they're just trying to take the ball out of Justin Robinson's hands, which obviously any team would do after he went off for 40 in the first meeting. But the thing that makes Monmouth and Robinson so dangerous is because they have other guys around, and because he's such a good passer, he's not going to force shots up. He's going to look for his open teammates as he did on that last play.
Tied at 29, Siena and Monmouth. Siena is still fighting for a possible #2 seed in next week's conference tournament. Claris for three. And Siena back up 32-29.
Foul number 24, Levon Long.
Personal foul against Levon Long, his second in the fourth against the Saints. And so Long,
The Saints, number 21.
the 6'7" senior from Baltimore, goes to the bench. Back in Asante Shivers. Malcolm, where Monmouth has continued to go with a 10, 11, 12-man rotation as Seaborn lays it in. Jimmy Patsos, as the season has gone on, has really shortened that bench.
He really has, and that's one of the reasons why he wants to shorten the possessions. He does not want to get into a trap meet with this Monmouth team. But back to the three-point shooting numbers. Siena right now, they're shooting over 41% from beyond the arc in their last 5 games. And conversely, for the season, they were shooting around 30%, so they've really been shooting the ball well from beyond the arc as of late.
Yeah, it's a complete departure from the way the months of November, December, and January went. Bisping can't get the shot off. It's a shot clock violation. Tomorrow on ESPN, the Big 12 and Pac-12 cap off our full day of college hoops. At 6 o'clock, it's Kansas and Texas, and then the big one in the Pac-12 Conference. Number 5 UCLA, number 4 Arizona. It's the huge Saturday primetime game presented by AT&T. Robinson fouled by Ogunyemi. Justin Robinson has only 2 points so far in this ball game, and defensively, I would say Siena's done a nice job.
Well, right here, again, that's what he's going to face every game. Double teams. That time he splits the double, and he's just so difficult to keep out of the lane. But we talked about it at the tip. That was key number 1, 2, and 3 for Siena coming into this game, keeping him under control. As the last game, they were unable to do that, and he went off for 40 points.
So far tonight, he has attempted only 3 field goals. Now with 4 points. A young man who suffered a broken foot at birth. He was a breech baby, and has had all sorts of hurdles physically. A couple of bad car accidents. His appendix burst while he was in high school. He's been told his entire life, you're too small, you can't do this, you can't do that, but Justin Robinson just keeps coming back. Here he is in the corner, guarded by Shivers. The 3 is well short. And they say it's Siena basketball, but quickly the officials confer. And Ron Tyberski reverses his call because Andy O'Brien, the baseline official, had a better look.
And I like that. Again, you don't need to take a lot of time for it. He had a better angle. He was sure on it. Brief conference and then get the call right. Good job by the ref.
James, Seaborn, Robinson, Hornbeak, and Brady, the 5 on the floor for Monmouth, with 5 minutes remaining here in the first half. Brady draws a double team. Ball poked out of bounds. Monmouth will keep with 10 seconds on the shot clock.
And that's a great dig in the post that time by Bisping, breaking up what looked like was going to be a short post move. And again, that's just excellent help defense, in particular that time by Bisping.
Robinson driving on Smithen. The reverse, no. Brady tips it. Robinson saves. Shot clock down to 2. And the desperation shot. Actually, Hornbeak had a little more time than he thought. And it's a shot clock violation back to Siena.
But it looked like it hit the rim. And I think the referees probably should take a look at this. Now, I'm not sure if it was tipped up, but they're not going to review it. But it certainly looked like, and King Rice, let's see, right here, tip out, and then on the shot, it looked like that ball hit the rim. And I'm not sure if that should have been a reset of the shot clock.
.426 to go first half. Siena has won the battle of pace and tempo so far tonight. Monmouth, though, leads by a point. Bisping, the jump hook. Seaborn able to save it. Monmouth basketball. Hornby, step back three. A little strong, and Bisping clears another rebound.
Nice job of blocking out that time by Siena as a team. And if you go back to that first matchup, that game was a one-point game at half the last time they met. So close game here in the first half, but let's see if Siena can keep this pace up.
8 to shoot. Right, goes through the legs, lost it on the way up. And it looks like James was the last to touch. No change of possession, though, so only 3 remaining on the shot clock. That's what Siena will have to work with on this possession when we come back.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by McDonald's. I'm loving it. And Talks.
Rice's team walked off the floor a loser, was all the way back on January 2nd at second place St. Peter's. And the way the team's been playing on this 14-game winning streak, Malcolm, Coach Rice says we've been sharing the ball so well that, quote, I've just got to get out of their way.
And he does an excellent job of getting these guys in position where they can score. But, Doug, I think a big reason why they're having such success is their defense. They're tied for first in the MAC with close to 8 steals per game. They turn you over, and if we go back to that last game, again, in particular against Siena, they had 28 points off of turnovers. They do an excellent job on the defensive end, and then they're off to the races.
3 seconds on the shot clock as Shivers gets it into Bisping. He has to force it up, beats the clock, but doesn't catch the iron, and so it's another shot clock violation forced by that Hawks defense.
Yeah, right on cue. Again, excellent defense, close out, and then they didn't foul. Again, you don't want to bail out in that situation. Stay home, get a hand up, and then try to go for the defensive rebound. Excellent job by Monmouth that time.
Robinson, Tillman, Stewart, Quinn. And Seaborn out there for Monmouth, and the foul is called as Quinn gets a shot to the head, and so the 6'9" sophomore from New York City will head to the free throw line.
Well, when I talked to some NBA scouts before this game about Justin Robinson, and I believe he's definitely going to play for a paycheck, whether it's at the NBA level or overseas, and they use this quote, one of them, dominant point guard who controls the game. And on that last possession there, again, he didn't score, but he drew 3 Siena defenders and then kicked it open to a wide open teammate. And that's the type of attention he draws because he's been so dominant on the offensive side. And his willingness to pass is another big reason why Monmouth has been on this win streak.
Well, the Spurs, the Blazers, the Jazz, the Mavericks, some of the teams who over the last couple of years have shown the most interest in Justin Robinson, who gets the offensive rebound. Again, remember, he's 5'8" at best, and yet still NBA teams continue to show real interest in this guy. And whether he ever gets to play a game in the league or not may come down to fit, but it won't be from lack of effort if he doesn't get there.
Well, the only thing I can compare it to, and me and King Rice talked about this when I first saw J.J. Barea play at Northeastern, I said, you know, size does not mean anything to this guy because nobody is going to keep him out of the lane, just like this young man right here at the free throw line. And then right here with the big boys going in, getting an offensive rebound. Didn't count, but again, you cannot teach heart, and that's something that is very big inside that young man's chest.
Yeah, and those are two guys battling in there. Javion Oganyemi, who is 6'10", used to play against Justin Robinson, listed at 5'8", when they were high school rivals. But Justin knew how to get around Javion for that offensive rebound. Siena down 4. Evan Fisher's come into the game for the Saints. He comes out to set the ball screen. Wright splits the double team, goes to the reverse, but can't finish the play. And here comes Robinson. Monmouth in transition again. And this time, Siena able to cut them off at the pass.
Excellent transition defense that time by Siena.
Quinn. And that's another assist for Robinson. 9 unanswered Monmouth points.
And just when I was ready to sing their praises, Justin Robinson, just like that, off the pick and roll. Beautiful dime again. Does a little bit of everything, not just scoring, but puts his teammates in positions to get some high percentage shots.
Again, these were the two teams picked first and second in the preseason coaches poll. Monmouth 1, Siena 2. Monmouth has already wrapped up the regular season title as Clarith fires away. And again, numbers, the lob to the rim. Stewart got it stuck between the rim and the backboard. That's a jump ball, and the possession arrow will give it to Siena.
Well, this just sums up Justin Robinson right here. You think you got him stopped? Good help defense. And then he comes off the pick and roll. Beautiful dime right here. Right on point to his teammate for a wide open deuce. And those are the things that made him the player of the year last year in this league. And I think he's on his way to another player of the year in the MAC conference.
No question. I think it's going to be a runaway where maybe a month and a half ago you could have made a case for a couple of other guys. Robinson has further separated himself in the last few weeks. And you saw the ball on a string right there. I mean, statistically, you can quantify a lot of things, but you can't quantify that with a number. But he's able to break any pressure, double team, triple team, and he has a knack for going through his legs or behind his back at the right time, despite traffic, and getting through it onto the other side.
It's really been fun to watch. And again, back to my previous statement, I believe he is going to be a guy that we see playing at the next level.
Bisping is called for the foul as Robinson was battling to try and keep the bigger player out of the lane.
Well, I want to make sure he's not acting on this one right here. I don't want to add that to his resume. Let's see. I don't know. See, I'm going to have to give him a hard time about that one after the game. I don't want him to add acting to his resume. There wasn't much contact right there, but he sold it to the referee and came up with a foul and turnover. But that is one right there where I'd say that is not, that should be either no call or certainly one on Robinson.
There is Robinson. Good closeout by the Saints defensively. Here comes Marquise Wright with Seaborn to beat. And the senior lays it in. That snaps a 9-0 Monmouth run. Wright has 10 to lead the Saints. Tillman gets those two right back.
Well, make or miss. When you play Monmouth, you're going to have better transition D. And what we're seeing now is Siena at times has been lax on the transition D on makes.
Sarr with the steal. That's Siena's 9th turnover. Micah Seaborn off the window for 2 more.
And now Monmouth close to 22 fast break points. And again, you cannot blink against this team. They want to run make or miss.
Ten to shoot. Inside Bisping. Sarr commits the foul. And Malcolm, I said a few minutes ago that Siena had gotten the pace that it was looking for, but almost in the blink of an eye, Monmouth has changed the script entirely.
Yeah, they have, but when they've had their opportunities right here, they've gotten some excellent action on the offensive side. That's a nice little slip by Bisping, and then a hard foul. And he's going to be at the free throw line, and I think the referees are conferring right now to see whether or not it was anything flagrant, and I think that's the right call. Again, he was going for the ball, and it just was an awkward fall. So good job by the referees, really not turning that into something more than it really was, other than a hard play on the ball.
Siena led this game 32-29, but since that time, Monmouth has been on a 13-2 run. Bisping gets 1 out of 2 from the line. He's He's got 8 points and 7 rebounds for the Saints. Could be the final possession of the half for Monmouth. Expect Robinson to come to the basketball. Shortly, 10 to shoot. Seaborn with it. Robinson remains over in the corner. Looks like they're going to let Seaborn go. He crosses Bisping. 3 seconds as the ball bounces around. Saved to Siena, but the Saints unable to get off a shot. A 13-2 run late in that first half has given Monmouth a 7-point lead heading into the locker room.
Well, if you're Siena, you have to be pleased with how you closed out the half with the defensive stand. And obviously, Justin Robinson was not a huge factor in that first half.
It's halftime here on the... We're back on the Jersey Shore, just about a mile from the Atlantic Ocean at Monmouth University, where the regular season champs in the MAC Monmouth enjoy a 7-point lead. Welcome back, everybody. Doug Sherman along with former Boston College Eagle Malcolm Huckabee. And Monmouth a year ago was one of those bubble teams everybody was talking about. Joey Brackets was talking about him. Andy Katz was talking about him. All the talking heads. This year, not so much. But we want to show you a blind resume to give you an idea what kind of year these Hawks are having this year. And
it's equally as impressive what Monmouth has been able to do. And in some ways, you might think they've had a better season. Now, obviously, you can take a look at the RPI top 50 and you look at it right here, and really the only thing missing from that is some signature wins as they had last year. But again, in terms of, for me, and the way they're playing, I think it would be a shame if they don't win the tournament, the MAC tournament, and not get into the dance. It would be a shame for these seniors not to experience that, because I think they are deserving again this year of being an NCAA tournament team.
The basketball's a hot potato to begin second half. Monmouth with it now. Delon Hornbeek, the former Oklahoma Sooner, with 3 to get the Hawks off to a flying start. Well, I'll tell you what. To me, there are 2 big reasons why Monmouth is not being talked about this year like it was last year. One, you alluded to it. Last year they had signature wins over UCLA and Notre Dame and USC and Georgetown. This year they don't have that, even though their RPI is better this year. But remember the bench mob. We've got a blocking foul here. And Siena will have a chance for 3 with Shivers going to the line. But remember the bench mob last year was a phenomenon. Had their own Twitter page. They were given a tour of the ESPN studios in Bristol. They were on the Today Show. They were everywhere. And every night that the Hawks were televised, which was every night, they'd wind up on SportsCenter with a bench mob. So they were part of the conversation naturally 3 or 4 times a week for 3 months. And without those 2 elements, I think they've kind of been forgotten relative to last year, even though some of the numbers are even better this year than last.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, we've talked about this, and I think the other thing, with a lot of good mid-major programs, none of the power conference schools want to play them. And, obviously, rightfully so. You look at the Wichita States of the world and the Butlers back in the day, and obviously now they're still an excellent program. But you can't penalize them because other teams will not play them. And I think you just look at, you call it whatever you want to call it, eye test, but they are definitely, in my opinion, a deserving program to have a bid in the NCAA tournament.
Levon Long goes out with his 3 fouls. Robinson, one of 5 outgoing seniors, playing their final home game here in West Long Branch, New Jersey. Nearly a minute into the second half. Chris Brady, another one of the seniors, down on the post. Can't get the roll. Bisping mistimed his jump. And then a travel is called against Josh James. And so Monmouth gives it back to Siena.
Well, in the first half, the problem area for Siena, 2 areas. Turnovers. Monmouth had 12 points off of turnovers, and then fast break points. Monmouth had 17 fast break points. They need to shore up those 2 areas in the second half.
Javion Ogunyemi. Brady blocks the shot. Those are 2 of the league's best shot blockers going at it. Shot clock down to 7. Marquise Wright. Tough shot. Draws the contact, and he'll head to the free throw line.
And that's what Wright does. And we talked about the last outing between these two teams. He had 36. He leads Siena right now in points per game. And he is always in attack mode, slashing to the basket.
Marquise Wright grew up about 20 minutes outside of Washington, D.C. Both of his parents worked for the federal government. Father Walter, his mom Shirley, actually works for the CIA. Bright young man. Had an opportunity again this morning to talk to him after shoot around. And, you know, Malcolm, you are all about these players. At some point, they're not going to have another game. And for some of them, after next week, they won't have another game to play. Some will play professionally. But Marquise Wright is one of those guys who will get his degree and should be able to find his way once he's got to hang up the sneakers. Colin Stewart for 3 more.
And to pay off that point right there, both he and Justin Robinson, they're both very well spoken, and as you said, off the court equally as impressive. And that's what it's about, because again, basketball will end, but I'm not sure these threes raining are not in this game, because that's what it has turned into in these last couple possessions.
Lob to the rim, and the left-handed hammer by Brady. I didn't think there was any way he was going to get that and convert it.
Well, it may not be SportsCenter top 10 nominee worthy, but the degree of difficulty, my goodness, off the charts.
Bisping no on the 3. Robinson in transition goes right around Bisping. Kick to the corner. Tough pass to handle, but plenty of time to recover. Although Jalon Hornbeek missed the 3. He hustles back to poke the ball out of bounds. Siena will keep.
We're going to take another look at the alley-oop right here. Good heads-up play. And yes, that right there, I mean, he had to lean back with the left and finish. Now, the hops weren't evident right there, but again, he had to go back over his shoulder to finish that one. Not easy.
That's something Chris Brady 2-3 years ago couldn't have done. He is a 6'10", 250-pound senior whose body looks completely different now than it did when he got here. He's lost a ton of weight. And whatever ups he has, he didn't have before. What a play. Claret with his second three-pointer here in the second half. That's 11 points for the sophomore from Baltimore. Stewart hit on the arm by Claret. And so the 6'8" senior out of McKeel Christian Academy, just outside of Schenectady, New York, will head to the free throw line to shoot 3.
And this is all set up again. The spacing for Monmouth right here. Confusion and then poor closeout. That's the last thing you want to do on a three-point shooter. Now let's see if he was, yeah, that's clearly a 3. And put him on the free throw line for 3 freebies.
Stewart gets the first. You know, he was recently nominated for the College Slam Dunk Contest at the Final Four. Colin Stewart is one of 16 in the bracket looking for your vote. And these are mostly guys from mid-major, lower major Division I, couple of Division II guys in there. And if he wins that vote, Stewart would be one of 8 in a slam dunk contest out in Glendale, Arizona next month at the Final Four.
And that's the guy they want at the end of those alley-oops. But certainly what an experience that would be for him to represent Monmouth.
Pass was kicked by Josh James, the co-captain from Greenburgh, New York. Tonight, after Spurs Clippers on ESPN, don't miss SportsCenter at night with Stan Barrett. He'll have everything from the association, college basketball, the NHL, NFL, spring training in Daytona. SportsCenter at night. After the NBA on ESPN, also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. And I just want to know where Neil Everett is. Is he playing poker again tonight? Making Stan do it all by his lonesome? Shot clock down to 2. Claret. And that is yet another Siena shot clock violation.
Yeah, we've seen that in the first half. Excellent closeouts by Monmouth, and then the result, Siena a deep, beyond NBA contested 3. They're going to have to get some more motion on the offensive side. Right now, Siena doing too much standing around, not a lot of swinging of the ball left to right.
Hornbeak and Seaborn, the old friends from the state of Texas, back into the game. This is Seaborn, the sophomore, and he is tied up and fouled. And if it's on Clarith, that is his fourth. And indeed it is. And so now Coach Patsos has a decision. He makes it quickly to send Shivers back into the game. Well, Clarith can put points on the board in a hurry. He's got a couple of three-pointers here in the first 4 minutes of the second half, but he's going to be out for a while. Robinson just toying with Levon Long. Couldn't make the shot, though. Remember, Long's in foul trouble as well.
Well, Doug, putting Long on Justin Robinson, I think, has been a key in this game. And obviously, he's not going to match him with his quickness, but his length really has bothered Robinson into shooting some contested shots.
Well, that time, Long got into a pounding session down in the post, and the foul goes against Monmouth. Back after this.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by the Quicksilver Card from Capital One. Earn unlimited 1.5% cash back every purchase, everywhere.
This is senior night at Monmouth University. 5 seniors playing likely their final game here at the Ocean First Bank Center, including Justin Robinson. And when King Rice, their head coach, talks about this group, he gets emotional. That man right there, Chris Brady's played in more games during his career than anybody else ever to wear a Monmouth uniform. King Rice says that he owes this senior class, Malcolm, his own children's future, because they have performed so well, recruiting them here, building this program, getting new contracts and more money. That money has helped to change King Rice's life, and he gives all the thanks he can to this senior class. Yeah, he really, got emotional talking about this group and how special they have been. And when you look at the numbers, certainly they back it up, but right now, Long showing off some quickness and hops, and then his defense against Robinson has been excellent throughout this game. Now, this Siena senior class is not to be trivialized. They've got 4 guys on the floor who have 1,000 career points, and they are playing their last couple of regular season games. They'll have their senior night Sunday up in Albany against Marist, and so all those emotions are brewing. And Levon Long told me at shoot-around this morning, this is really an important time for him, and you can see on this drive. Right here, poor help defense. It was non-existent for Monmouth, and that's just a straight line drive. King Rice is not going to be happy with that. They need to cut off the dribble drives, and that's something, one of the principles in that pack line defense. Again, play the gaps. Oganyemi grabs the miss. And just the mere fact that Siena is playing on ESPN2 tonight. First time since these guys were freshmen they've gotten this sort of platform, and don't think for a second Marquise Wright and his classmates don't appreciate it. And they have executed in the second half, and that was a problem for him in this first game, but right now, and that's just a point-blank miss by Monmouth, but on the offensive side, they've executed. They've gotten high percentage shots in the second half, and then defensively, we talked about Justin Robinson, but he has been a non-factor to start off the second half. Well, Siena trailed by 7 at halftime. If that 3 had gone for Wright, the Saints would have taken the lead. Here comes Bisping for the tie. And the hustle by the freshman Shivers. Make it Khalil Wright, excuse me. And we are tied at 52. Khalil Richard with his first 2 points. Robinson, no. And a foul is called against Siena and against Marquise Wright. Right here. And this is just excellent offense. That time they gambled and then they made him pay. And then right here, this is this excellent hustle. Really poor transition defense by Monmouth, and the freshman getting after it on the offensive glass to clean it up. And right now, again, King Rice talked about it in terms of the emotions on senior night. And I don't want to discount what Siena has done, but
again, it's an emotional time. A lot of these young men have a lot of family in town for this game, and a lot of distractions, which coaches do not like. And certainly, again, King Rice talked about how it played into his senior night at North Carolina and them losing to Duke. Certainly that could be a factor in this game. You don't know what the emotions are of these young men right now.
After our 5th tie, Monmouth has retaken the lead for King Rice's club. Wholesale substitutions for the Hawks. Quinn, Sarr, Stewart, and Tillman in. 4 fresh bodies around Justin Robinson, who himself now has 8 points. Robinson called for the reach-in foul. That's just his first.
Number 12, Justin Robinson, his first personal 4th team foul.
4th team foul against Monmouth here in the second half. Both teams with 4. Marquise Wright is on the bench for the moment for Siena. So 3 seniors and 2 freshmen out there for the Saints in their road gold uniforms with the green lettering. Here's one of the freshmen, Richard. Six to shoot. Long uses the Bisping screen. He's in a tough spot. And able to hit the 3. And Robinson gets 2 of them right back in the blink of an eye.
Well, there's no time to celebrate, but back to that previous defensive possession for Monmouth. Not sure how long got that one to go off, but certainly shot clock winding down. That's a big 3 for Siena.
Well, how does a team change its MO? I mean, this Siena team could not shoot 3-pointers at all during November, December, and January, but in the month of February, a completely different story.
Well, I think a lot of it goes to these seniors. And take a look at Long right here, knocking down the big 3 with the shot clock winding down. They know that time is running out, and obviously they want to be playing their best ball going into conference tournament play, and these seniors have stepped up in this last 5-game stretch.
Oganyemi is fouled. Looks like Chris Brady is whistled for his 3rd. Now going into February, Malcolm, Siena was among the worst in the country in 3-point shooting, under 5 per game at a 32% clip. But over the last 5 games coming into tonight, they've been making 7 threes a game and doing it at a 42% clip. I just don't know how that changes.
Certainly the same players, and again, I think the sense of urgency, but they've been getting better looks. And that's something that I think is key in this as well, too.
Good defense that time by the Hawks. Here comes Robinson. He is relentless. Siena was ready that time. Back the other way. Here comes the freshman Richard. Up and over the defender. Tillman couldn't stop him. And Siena seesaws back in front.
Right now, and this is one of the few times we've seen Justin Robinson really forcing the action and forcing shots up on the offensive side. Typically, we see him under control, and he's been really out of sync throughout this game, and something that we're not used to seeing with him when we call games with Monmouth.
Foul number 3 on Oganyemi, and so Brady, a 74% foul shooter at the line out of Harborfield High School on Long Island.
Number 11 is Juan Hornby, checks in for the Hawks.
Robinson goes out for the Hawks. Hornby back in. 1 out of 2 from the line for Brady. Hawks still trailing by a point. Goes around Sarr, and he gets it pinned. Must be something about that basket. Second time tonight we've seen that. The possession will belong to Siena when we come back. Media timeout here on the Jersey Shore. We've got a good one. Saints up 1. Tonight isn't the first time Justin Robinson has taken a basketball floor as the shortest guy out there. This young man knows how to do it despite being only 5'8".
Well, you definitely cannot teach heart. And again, this guy has one of the biggest in the game. Obviously not the tallest guy, but he's impacting this game in other ways right here, showing off the passing ability. He draws so much attention because he can score so many points. But tonight he has been a facilitator as opposed to a guy putting up 40 as he did in the last contest.
Yeah, that was just 11 days ago. His career high 40 against this same Siena team. Monmouth has cooled off here in the second half, shooting just 36%. And since the break, Siena has been lighting it up at 57%. Saints with the ball, leading by a point.
Well, the big thing, Doug, in this game, pace of play. Right now, this is favoring Siena, how the pace has gone in the second half. They have slowed this game down. And remember, at one point, we thought this thing was going to get up into the hundreds again. And Siena's done a nice job slowing the pace of play down.
5 to shoot. Wright has to retreat. The long three. Banks off the backboard. Wright with a better look from the left side around and out. Tip up. No. Tipped again by Oganyemi. And the Siena possession continues.
Another possession for Siena. And again, those 50-50 balls, second chance opportunities, they add up. Right now, Siena's getting all of the 50-50 balls in this second half.
Siena got a little disjointed without the basketball in the hands of its senior point guard. Now with 3 to shoot, they've got the freshman again, Richard, wrap around Oganyemi, and he traveled. Took a step before he put the ball to the floor, and so the senior out of Troy, New York, gives it back to Monmouth. That is Siena's 11th turnover tonight. Monmouth has taken good care of the ball, only 6 giveaways so far.
And that's one where he's got to recognize shot clock is winding down. You have no time to take an extra step. You got to catch and put that one up.
Stewart has had an impactful night in the starting lineup tonight for Monmouth. He's got 13 points. Brady against the double team, and he traveled.
So 2 sloppy possessions on both ends, both teams turning it over. And right now, it has been a struggle for Monmouth in this last 3-4 minute stretch to get anything going on offense.
Winding down on the midway point here at the Ocean First Bank Center at Monmouth University. The lob for Oganyemi was off the mark. Monmouth with a chance to retake the lead. Tillman leans in, and with those broad shoulders, tough for a defender to keep him from where he wants to go.
Yeah, nice job not settling for a jumper. But what Siena also has done in the second half, the transition defense has been excellent. In that first half, Monmouth was getting a lot of transition points. Right now in the second half, make or miss, Siena has made a concerted effort to get back and clog up the lanes, not give them any dribble drives.
Now, this has been a gorgeous day on the Jersey Shore. Temperatures in the 70s here. And it's warm inside this jam-packed building as well. There's a look at the MAC standings. Monmouth last week already wrapped up the regular season crown. Siena still has a chance to nail down the number 2 seed in next week's MAC tournament, which is important because the way it is set up, if you are either 1 or 2 going into the tournament, you have the opportunity to get a day off between the quarterfinal round and the semifinal round.
Certainly important for a team like Siena. Not as deep as Monmouth, and you would like to get that extra rest for your guys.
You and I didn't get a chance to go to the Jersey Shore today. Again, we're about a mile from the sand and the surf. It really is beautiful, and it may not be Pepperdine, it may not be UCSB, but for the East Coast, you're not going to find a better situation if you like the beach to be at a college campus.
What a beautiful day it was, and I would echo that as we take a look at some more nice work by Wright.
Air ball comes into the hands of Nico Claret. And Long has picked up the foul. Levon Long was left standing at the free throw line as Josh James from Monmouth went flying. And that is number 4 on Long.
That's certainly not a great foul at all by Long. And let's take a look right here on the replay.
You see left side of your screen as they get tangled.
Yeah, and again, because he extended the arm, that's what the referee saw, and not a good foul that time by Long.
Long stays in the game with those 4 fouls and 12 points. Claris coming back playing with his 4 fouls. Off the mark, the lob to the rim. Hornbeek, no. Brady cleans it up. Monmouth back on top, 60-59.
Well, the initial transition, D, was good, but the other guys, the trailers, still continue to come for Monmouth.
Long bottled up in the lane, no look to the corner. Marquise Wright, no. Bisping, back taps. Scramble for the ball. Wright laying on his back. And let's see if everybody can get untangled without tempers flaring. Looks like everybody's okay, although Marquise Wright looks like he's in a little bit of pain on the Monmouth logo. He is still sprawled out on his back as we take another look.
And that's just great hustle by both teams getting after it, realizing that's a 50-50 ball. So that's, again, just great work by both teams getting on the floor, getting after it.
And you can see Marquise Wright has yet to get up. Now the trainer for Siena, Greg Dashnaw, has come out.
You wonder at this stage in the game whether or not that's a cramp or somebody landed on that.
Well, as mentioned, it is warm and humid in this building, and let's hope it's just a cramp. But he wound up with a couple of bodies on top of him, so who knows? Lon Hornbeek. And we understand that earlier in the ball game, they were working on that same left calf. Now they're hydrating him, and makes you think that hopefully it is indeed just a cramp. You could use what?
I could use that right now, a little ice on my legs. But I tell you what, that certainly could be a factor, and I think you're right. As you see, they have some type of sports drink for him. It is hot in this building, and you know, outside today it was a gorgeous day, but certainly in this building right now, the humidity off the charts. So certainly that should be and could be a factor for both teams to close out this game.
You see his numbers: 17 points, 9 rebounds for the senior guard out of North Point High School. That's outside of Washington, D.C. And he will continue to receive treatment behind the Siena bench with a full timeout called.
Will Cinderella live for one more night? This is it. 8 seconds to go. At the buzzer. He's got it! My goodness! These guys won't give
up. Let's take a look at Bracket Buzz, brought to you by Cheez-It. With Malcolm Huckabee, I'm Doug Sherman, and Kansas just keeps on keeping on. 13 consecutive conference championships, now equaling the great UCLA John Wooden teams of the late 60s through the 1970s.
And it's amazing the run that he has had. And the last I checked, the Big 12 is a pretty good conference. The likes of Oklahoma, Iowa State, and so on. And
Baylor.
You know, Baylor. I mean, you can go on. Oklahoma, and they've dominated. And to do that many times consecutively is really a testament to Bill Self and staff. They have been excellent.
Long blocked that shot. Siena with a chance to come up with what could be a 14th lead change tonight. Remember, Monmouth looked like it was separating a little bit late in the first half. Went to the locker room ahead 42-35, but the Saints have controlled things here in the second half. Ball knocked out of bounds off of Monmouth, and so Siena will have possession after this media timeout. Jimmy Patsos and his Siena Saints looking to take down the regular season champs here at Monmouth. Down in the standings, but anytime the Jaspers and the Gales get together, you know, Malcolm Huckabee, it's an entertaining ball game.
We've called plenty of those games, and it is, as you said, always entertaining when those two schools get together. But that should be another fun game to watch.
Siena turns it over. Clarith stepped on the sideline, and that is the 15th turnover. Only 7 committed by Monmouth, but 15 and counting for Siena.
Well, the one area that they really have done an excellent job, and a big reason why they are in this game, only down 1, transition defense. And in that first half, they were okay. I'd give them a C. In this second half, they have been excellent, and they have not allowed Monmouth to get up and down as they want to in transition.
Monmouth has 4 back, and so Nico Clarith waits for his teammates, and you wonder how the heat and the humidity in this building are taking a toll more so on the Siena players because of their shortened bench than the Monmouth players. As Marquise Wright, the leader of this team, continues to get rehydrated and receive ice packs around his body. You wonder what Siena's going to have for the final 7-12.
Well, speaking with the coaching staff, they wanted to execute a game plan that resulted in fewer possessions in this game. They said, there's no way we're going to get into a track meet with Monmouth. We have to slow this game down, and they wanted this game in the 60s and 70s as opposed to in the hundreds that Monmouth put up on them the last time. So I would say they are executing the game plan to perfection, in particular in the second half, slowing the pace of play down.
Javion Oganyemi, who summer before last transferred from Siena to Boston University before changing his mind a few weeks into that transfer. He lost his mom, who passed away earlier that year, and was going through some things, decided to transfer back to Siena. Levon Long to the floor. He's got it, but can't find a teammate, and he gets tied up. Timeout has been granted as Long got that called before the tie-up. So Siena keeps possession, but has to burn a timeout.
King Rice is livid, thinking that should not have been definitely should not have been a timeout awarded to Siena. So good break and heads-up play for Siena like that time, getting on the ground and getting a timeout.
So we're tied at 60 apiece. Levon Long getting rehydrated. And Malcolm Huckabee and I have continued to hydrate ourselves to make sure we're okay for the final 6 minutes and 57 seconds. But we've got ourselves a good one here.
It is. And again, the game plan for Siena coming into this, they knew they could not have this game played in the hundreds or 80s as they did the last game. And that has bothered them. I think the adjustment also putting Long on Justin Robinson. Again, a guy that is much taller, 6'7", 6'8", keeping him in front of him. That really has bothered Justin Robinson in this game and forced him into some difficult shots.
Well, Robinson only 2 of 12 shooting tonight. He's got 10 points, 4 assists. He's yet to make a three-pointer. And again, he has been shooting about 67% for the last few weeks from beyond the arc. Still 0 for tonight. Long, Bisping, Oganyemi, Wright, and Clarith out there for Siena. Bisping has it knocked away. Taken right back, though, by the Saints. Clarith for 3. It's good. Siena back in front. Robinson hangs in the air. Beautiful English off the window. He has a knack, Malcolm, at only 5'8", 175 to go up against bigs and finish way more often than not.
Well, I said it at the tip. I'm glad I'm sitting here not trying to keep him out of the lane. He is just a handful with his quickness and ability to change direction on a dime.
Well, Siena's gotten a lot from Nico Clarith off the bench, 14 points and counting.
And this is a timely 3 right here off of the Monmouth turnover, and then right here, this is just what the reigning MAC player of the year does. Break down the defense, knife through, and then finish. What a career he has had.
At the line, Brett Bisping, last time out against Niagara, posted his 10th double-double of the year, 17 points, 17 rebounds, but he misses the front end. 8 points, 12 boards for Bisping here tonight. Diego Quinn gets fouled by Bisping.
Foul number 31, Brett Bisping. His second personal.
And that is foul number 2 on the former Morton High School Potter. And Brett Bisping is from a very athletic family there in the Peoria area. His younger sister, Brandy, by the way, she's a high school senior, recently signed to play next year at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Their older sister, Brooke, played D1 basketball at the hometown school at Bradley. So 3 kids from the same family playing D1 hoops for the Bispings.
I'd say that's a pretty talented family right there and pretty good bloodline. And speaking of Bisping, he's had an excellent career at Siena. And again, a guy that does a little bit of everything, rebounds or score points, excellent defender. Another senior that has had an outstanding career.
Siena down 1. Clarith off the hesitation. Tried to finish with the left hand, lost it, and it's Monmouth basketball. Monmouth riding the 3rd longest winning streak currently in the country. Of course, Gonzaga has a chance this weekend to close out a perfect regular season. Justin Robinson, there's that knack to finish. Somehow able to hang in the air to get to the other side of the ring.
Well, the problem right now, Long has 4 fouls, and he has been the guy that has really been the only one to stay in front of Robinson. But right here, now this is just blazing speed right here. Change direction, and then the little up and under to finish. And that's not an easy shot that he made look easy.
But this young man is an absolute gym rat. He was on this floor before Siena had its shoot around, after Siena had its shoot around, and then during the Monmouth shoot around. He's in the gym constantly. 17 points. As Richard replaces Wright. And Levon Long shooting a 1-and-1 for Siena. Staring into the Monmouth student section, he buries the first and then uses his index finger to quiet the crowd.
Well, I like the confidence in Long, another guy that has had an outstanding career, over 1,200 points and over 600 rebounds. I'd say that's pretty impressive as he knocks down the second free throw.
Yeah, he brings a versatility that not many others in this league do. He has that senior urgency as well. Hornbeek for 3. The Hawks up 4. Under 5 minutes on the clock. Long for 3. Long rebound comes back to him. Robinson poked it away for a moment. Here goes Clarith. And Oganyemi looks for somebody to come to him and take the ball. Siena playing without Marquise Wright for the moment. Continuing to sit on the bench, we presume, with cramping issues. Clarith, the deep 3. He's got his own miss. Lost it behind his back, and he's called for traveling. Perhaps the sophomore trying to do too much.
And it's a big break for Monmouth. Right now, second chance opportunity. Siena getting a lot of offensive rebounds off of long misses. And right here, this is just a tough break, which would have been a sure deuce, but missed opportunity for Siena.
Turnovers continue to mount for the Saints. Well, Joe Lunardi has this Monmouth team as a 13 seed in the upcoming field of 68. That's presuming they represent the MAC by winning the MAC tournament. Robinson couldn't finish the play, and a foul on the rebound. It goes against Siena's Ogunyemi, and that is his fourth. 19th foul against Siena, so it's a 1-and-1 for Diego Quinn. He's just a 60% foul shooter. Rivers will replace Ogunyemi. Well, on Cat's Corner this afternoon, Tim Welsh, college basketball analyst, former Providence head coach, was giving this Monmouth team a little bit of love. And, you know, they are not officially on most people's bubble, but the reality is they're not that far off.
No, they aren't. And again, I think this year they're equally as deserving if they are not able to win the MAC conference tournament.
Marquise Wright with 17 points, 9 boards, blocked by Quinn. Hornbeak has it poked away. Bodies on the ground right in front of us, and then the timeout is called off the ball by the captain, Justin Robinson.
And that's a heads-up play by Robinson, realizing his teammate could not make that call. He immediately got in front of the referee to call the timeout, and it's certainly an important possession in this game.
And that'll take us to break. Justin Robinson making all the right moves, making buckets, making plays, and leading these Monmouth Hawks. With 3:41 remaining, a capacity crowd here at the Ocean First Bank Center on the Jersey Shore with Malcolm Huckabee. I'm Doug Sherman. And we have gotten all we could have hoped out of this one so far, going right down through the wire. Siena still fighting for a possible #2 seed. Monmouth's already wrapped up the #1 seed as the regular season champ for next week's MAC championship, which will begin on Thursday, 6 days from now, up at the Times Union Center in Albany.
And what a great atmosphere we have here on senior night at Monmouth. And you've already talked about the scenery outside. What a beautiful day we've had. And now we got ourselves a close and exciting game.
Louis Pilari back into the game for Monmouth. He got some run in the first half. Hasn't seen him since. 10 to shoot. Kadeem Smithen trying to stay with Robinson. Tough job. Didn't hit the rim, so that's a shot clock violation. No chance for Robinson to recover deep in the corner.
And another good defensive stand for Siena, that time forcing Robinson into a tough floater in the lane. And you take a look right here. This is just good individual defense. Force him into a tough shot. And then Monmouth not recognizing the shot clock did not reset. Turnover.
And even though I'm sure the coaches reinforced in the timeout that you've only got 24 in the shot clock, off of the miss, you've still got that internal clock thing going. That I've still got 6 seconds. Not that he had any opportunity to get a shot up again, because again, when Robinson tracked it down in the corner, maybe he had 1 second to work with. Bisping, wide open 3. Levon Long. 2 more for the senior from Baltimore. That's 16 points, and he draws the Saints back to within 2. Robinson, little hesitation. Smithen stays with him. Doesn't matter. The Dynamo from Lake Katrine, New York, puts it back to a 71-67 score.
Well, you'll live with that if you're Siena. That's not bad defense. That's just the MAC player of the year making a tough shot. Just better offense.
2.5 to play. Long steps back for 3. Air ball. Siena saves 10 on the shot clock. Smithen into the lane. Offensive foul. Well, I tell you, Josh James is not going to have a big stat line, but he's been doing a lot of the dirty work here tonight, Malcolm.
Yeah, and he's been the energy guy right here. This is just great defense. Step over. Excellent call by the referee. Again, that pack line defense, play the gaps, and that time they executed to perfection right there. That's just great team defense, sliding in, closing down the driving lane, and coming up with a charge.
Yeah, 2 years ago, King Rice reached out to Virginia head coach Tony Bennett and asked him to share the secrets that he knows about his pack line defense. And so one of Coach Bennett's former assistants at Washington State wound up coming here to Monmouth, and they had the meeting that has really turned this Monmouth program into a very good defensive team. Hornbeak with the bucket. Just like that, it's a 6-point ball game.
And it's all about playing the gaps, cutting down the dribble drive angles, and then contesting shots. And that's something that Monmouth has done an excellent job this season of.
Richard drives and dishes. Back out to Clarith for 3. Foul on the rebound. And it goes against Monmouth and against James. That means Bisping will go to the foul line. Tomorrow on ESPN, the Big 12 and Pac-12 will cap off our full day of college hoops at 6 Eastern. In Austin, the Longhorns against Kansas. And then out for our huge Saturday primetime game presented by AT&T. Along with the College Game Day crew, it'll be number 4 Arizona hosting number 5 UCLA. And the Pac-12 has not had a year like this one in many, many years, where you've got 3 legitimate Final Four contenders.
Yeah, they really have. And obviously one of the big storylines in there, Lonzo Ball. How about the talent that he has and possesses? A big guard that can do a little bit of everything. Explosive. He's got Steph Curry range, and another one of those young players that is exciting to watch, and would not be surprised to see them go on a little run in the NCAA tournament.
Monmouth happy to work the clock. 15 with which to work. Robinson. Corner 3, Hornbeak, no. With just over a minute remaining, Siena has it down 4. Saints continuing to play without their senior point guard, Marquise Wright.
Well, if you're Siena here, you do not need a 3. If it comes off a penetration and kick to an open 3, that's fine.
Long trying to create. Able to get the finish. He's got 18. Timeout, Coach Patsos.
Well, that's a tough runner, end of lane that time by Long. And again, heads up play. You don't need to settle for a contested 3. Try to drive the ball. Good body control that time by Long. And again, he's a lefty coming down, and that's just a beautiful finish in the lane. And now you get a chance to get a timeout and then set up your defense.
Let's toss it back to Doug in the studio for a moment. Indeed we do. 40.7 seconds left in regulation as Siena is pushing the regular season champs from Monmouth right down to the wire. This Siena team playing without its senior leader, Marquise Wright. It's been a great matchup between the 2 senior leaders, Justin Robinson as well. He's got 16 points and has been doing a little bit of everything for the Hawks.
Yeah, he's starting to heat up now in this second half right here, showing off the quickness, little hesitation move, and he's so difficult to keep out of the lane. And then this is just what he does, the reigning MAC Player of the Year, making tough shots and keeping his team ahead in this game in the second half.
As his coach told us this morning, just making buckets.
It's just amazing, that recruiting story again by King Rice. Really nobody gave this young man a chance, and here he is now leading his team to a MAC regular season championship, and on the verge now of another win and a big one on senior night.
10-second difference between game and shot clock, so Siena content to just sit and wait, down 2. Here goes Robinson, a long 2. Right in Clarith's face. It's a 4-point game. One of the officials has called time to go and check something on the monitor. Maybe he thought it could have been a three-point shot. I'm not sure. It seemed pretty clear from here it was a 2.
Well, I'm going to say it again, and I've said it before going back to last year. Justin Robinson is one of the best guards in all of college basketball. Not just the MAC, but in college basketball, period. When I talk to NBA scouts about this young man, they use words like dominant point guard, lethal pull-up jumper, and right there is a big reason why I believe he is going to be a guy that plays for a paycheck at the next level.
18 points for Justin Robinson. He was the Lute Olson National Player of the Week February 20th after having scored 40 points in the first game against Siena. He has not had nearly the statistical game, but so far equally impactful for these Hawks. And the points have come more in the second half than they did in the first half.
And he's able to impact the game with his assist. Again, he's a guy that draws a lot of attention, but he also is a great assist guy as well.
Marquise right back into the game for Siena with 7 seconds. Bisping misses the 3. Clarith lays it in. 3.6 on the clock. Back to a 2-point difference. Siena still alive.
Foul number 31, Brett Bisping.
The other luxury that King Rice has with his senior leader and point guard at the end of games, he's an excellent free throw shooter. Coming into this game at 84%.
And as a team, they're second in the league at 75%. Your primary ball handlers, Robinson, Hornbeak, and Seaborn, all 82, 82, and 84%. So that's pretty good. Next up on ESPN2, stick around, more college hoops. Dayton Davidson from just outside of Charlotte. We'll get you there as soon as we're finished here on the Jersey Shore. 2 huge free throws for Robinson. Makes it a 2-possession game. And so on senior night, Robinson gets a huge ovation as he goes out with 3.3 to play. Bisping has it poked away. And the Monmouth Hawks extend the nation's 3rd longest winning streak to 15 games in a row.
It's an impressive performance, but Justin Robinson, the senior for Monmouth, closed the game out with 2 big free throws. It was an impressive team performance for Monmouth at home tonight.
Justin Robinson with 20 points.